Alright, so I'm going to be cleaning up this 2013 Kia Soul here, and I've got a lot of work to do on this vehicle, but I wanted to go through and do a video on cleaning this up. I don't normally do that. And I'm just going to give you a look at the inside here. Okay, and this has the 6-speed manual in it. And you can see all this, so there's just no way you're going to just vacuum this out. We're going to have to start with a vacuum, and we're going to be taking all this apart. Just a lot of dust and dirt in here. Had to be like some kind of a work vehicle. They stuck an ashtray in here. And a lot of times iffy if you can get some of this out. But we're going to try to make it a lot better. So at least the seats aren't ripped up. Okay, we're going to focus on getting these seats out. We'll get it, we'll vacuum it a little more once we get all the seats out of the way. I got a 14. We're going to just start back here. I got that seat all the way forward. It's important to note, now this car doesn't even have a battery on it at the moment, but if you're going to do this, disconnect your battery because the airbag wires and stuff run under the seat. Okay, so we got the seat back. We'll get the two in the front. Okay, we'll carefully lift this back. You can see we got a whole bunch of wires to disconnect. We got to pull back on these little safety tabs. And we also got a few over here on this other side. Okay, so that's a little tab you pull back on. That one stays. A lot of these connectors you'll find you need like a little pick tool. Like with this one up here, you have to reach up and pull back on this. And with this one, you have to pull back on this little lock, and then you free all those up. But make sure to do that. We're going to take some tape because we're going to be cleaning these and cover all the ends of these connectors. Okay, so we're ready to get this seat out, and then we'll get started on the other side. You got to be mindful of the bottom of this seat when you're getting this out of here, so you're not damaging your paint and your doors and scratching things up. Now on the driver's side here, we just have the two connectors, and again you pull back on that black tab and then you can push down, and then this one here you get up there with a pick tool because it's on the top, and you pull back on that, and that just pops right off there. So we're ready to get this seat out. Okay, so we're going to work on getting this bottom seat loose, and if you come right here in the center, there's going to be a 14 millimeter that's on there. You need to get that out, and of course I've already got this loosened up, so we need to get that completely out. And then we're going to come down here, and you'll look right here, you have to push that piece of plastic. You see that will pop up. Now it may be stuck if stuff has been spilt, so okay, so again we come over to this side, we find, give that a push, and now this will completely lift up and out of there. Okay, so we're just going to get all of these 14s out. We don't need to take this one. We're going to get one because the seat belt's wrapping over, so we're going to get that out, and then the one on the end. Okay, so now we got those, we'll get on the back side. Okay, so we got 3 bolts back here. We're just going to use a ratchet to get these. Now once we get these loose, these will separate and kind of fall off here, but we're going to completely remove it and just keep up with where they go. Okay, so we got it all completely loose. Okay, so I was wrong about this separating. It looks like it's going to come out in one piece, so we're just going to go ahead and get this out of here. Okay, so I got the back seat out. We're going to work on popping these little buttons up here since we're here at it. And what's the next thing we're going to have to get on that console and start getting this carpet loose, and which means we're going to have to pop a lot of these pieces up to get access to it. Now it helps to have some of these plastic tools, getting these up so you're not damaging things. These will really bite in. You see these clips. Sometimes they'll pull off in here as well, so depends on how stuck they are. Now you'll notice that once we get that piece up, we have like wires that are clipped and there's holes here. So here's what I'm talking about. You've got a wire that's under here that's got a clip. I'm going to have to get my other tool, but it's going to prevent you from pulling this carpet down. So you're going to get under here with this tool and pop that up. And we're going to have to do this all along through here. So there's our front one. Okay, where our seat belt goes here, we're going to pop it out at the bottom a little bit. Okay, so with that loose, we can get, you can see there's nothing clipped in here, so we'll be able to pull this carpet out from under here. Now up here we have one clip right there that we need to get, and then we need to pop this little kick panel out of the way. Okay, so we're working on getting this kick panel off. Down here you got a little push pin, need to get out. Up here you either unscrew this or pop it off. Now with this, the lever for the hood, I'm using a 12 point, it's a 5/16. You have to kind of push on this because it's got these plastic clips. You don't want to break this. And while you're pushing pressure down on this, it will pop that off of there. As you can see, it's just got these plastic clips. Let me zoom in there a little bit. So basically, go in there with something round. I was just using this and it got the job done. So now I'm going to go back in here. I think we got one more screw I'm missing here. Okay, so I got a Phillips screw right here. Again, quite a bit holding this little kick panel. They sure didn't want it moving. Let's see. Okay, so there's that. Okay, so now we can get that out of the way. And you can see right up here we've got another place where the wire is going through, so we need to pop that up. Now you notice, you pull that out. Okay, so basically we've got to do the same thing on this passenger side, with the exception of the kick panel up there. This will be the same, so we're going to get this loose on this side. Okay, so we just got the push pin on this kick panel, and you will need, and then we've got this up here, it pops off, and we don't have the latch to contend with, so that will just come out of there. And then we've got a wire here that we got to push up. Okay, we'll get to work on the console. You pop this out here, slide that back. We've got our first Phillips right here. Let's go ahead and get that out of the way. We'll go to the other side. Okay, I'm working on this part of the console here. You got to take your tool and carefully work around. You got all these things popping it down. You'll also note that we've unscrewed the knob on here, and we want to be careful removing this not to lose any of our springs and pieces. And then we'll go ahead and just put that together. Okay, now this back here has a tricky little spot on this. You can see the indentation right here. You need to, I took this tool and got in here with it, and it just pops out of there. So I believe we have got another screw in here. Okay, once you get all of the trash cleaned out, you go down there with an 11 and you get that bolt right there loose. Okay, so once the bolt back here is out, there's a couple of clips up here. You got to use a little plastic tool, and then that pops us right out of there, and then we can take and lift this up and off of here now. Completely loose. And you'll note that the carpet is not fastened under here. Some of them, with some cars, you'll have it running across and it may be fastened. This one's not, so you could pull this carpet out from under here without removing the console, but you know, you see how nasty this thing is, and it'll just be better to have it out where it can be cleaned up. So at this point, we should have everything pretty well loose. We're going to make sure we keep up with all our little screws and put them back where they go and start working this carpet out. And it should pull right out from under these sides. Okay, so up here I'm starting kind of rolling this back. And there's a little bit of Velcro over on that, and we're going to kind of pull it back this way, and we'll need to pull it over the air ducts there. Okay, there's a little button right here that I was missing, and there's also two on the other side. I'll show you right over there. There's two that I took out. Okay, now with just the bottom of this loose, you can see I slipped this carpet right out from underneath that, so we don't need to remove any more of that. So now we're just going to go over and do the same thing on this other side. So as long as all the little buttons are out, you should be able to just slip it, slide that down. We'll get on the other side. Okay, so there we got it slipped out. See, we got all of this up here loose. We can just keep a note of where your wires are coming through. And we'll just fold it and remove it from the other side. Okay, so now we can finally get this out and we can clean it. Okay, so I'm just getting everything set out here. Get it cleaned up. Just wanted to give a little before. If you've got a good extractor, I suppose you could get this done, but very difficult. The carpet is always going to be the worst. This is going to take some doing to get this out, and we're going to be using some soap to start with, but just wanted to get a good before. And this is, I've just got the tip for the soap on there. We're set up over here, just some car wash soap. And so we're going to go ahead and get started. So we're just going to kind of get this soap down real good and let the soap kind of do its job, and then we'll come back and start hitting it with the pressure tip. You don't want to get too close. Usually the carpet, you're okay, but if you get too close with that tip on the seats, it'll start cutting into the material. Mine is 3100 psi, so if you got one that's a little bit lower psi, you might be okay, but just be cautious. You can see that starting to come out of there. It's going to be a lengthy process. Okay, so let's take a look at them here. You're going to have to work on them if you plan on doing this till you get the water clean. And it takes a bit sometimes. See, it's we'll know more, you know. Don't be surprised when it settles out. You get some, you know, a little dirt coming to the top. You may have to wipe it up and stuff a little bit, but it's a whole lot better than it was. These two areas in the back seat were the worst, and a lot of cleaner and everything was in there. It just took a while to spray that out. I'm going to be spraying off the pieces. Sometimes you can get some plastic paint and paint these things. They look a lot better, but I'm just going to be cleaning them off with a pressure washer, all the little pieces, and I'm going to be doing those by hand. Let's see how these are looking. Pretty good for now. The pressure washer will get a lot of even paint stains out. You know, you got to be careful. You don't want to tear the material, but this one here didn't want to come out, but I got a lot of them out. And hopefully when it dries, it still looks pretty good. But so far at this point, it's a big improvement. And that carpet was absolutely disgusting. It was iffy on it, but it's looking pretty good actually. And I was worried that the carpet was just going to be really wore down, but it doesn't really appear to be that bad once I get all the dirt off of it. Okay, so we're getting ready to put this carpet back in. You can see the difference for sure. It looks a lot better. And I've been letting this dry for a couple of days. It takes a while for the padding underneath to get dry, and really needs to be hanging up. But you can see that the carpet itself doesn't look bad. I expected it to be worn a lot worse, but it doesn't actually look very bad at all. Okay, as far as the inside goes, I just took and wiped this out with some rags, a little bit of soapy water. You know, take whatever you need to. Take a little brush, a little toothbrush, kind of get... It wasn't just horrible, but anything you leave behind, you know, is the potential for smells, so you might as well take the time to clean this out with some cleaner as best you can before you put your carpet back down. And there are some plugs down here, you can see. If you want to wash it out, just be careful, don't get water in your connectors and airbag modules and stuff. And just to show you it's pretty dirty back here. I still got a little water in here. I'm going to have to dry it out. But I took the plug out back here. You can see. So I could kind of rinse this out because it was really nasty. So I want to try to clean out while everything's out of the way. This is the time to do it. Wiped all the panels down. Everything went over everything real good. While everything's out of here, it's going to be the time to do it when you can actually get to things. So let's go ahead and start feeding the carpet back in here. Just kind of got to fold it up a little bit here. And we got to remember to get our wires fed back up. We got our little gas lever here for our gas lid. We got to go over. Now the hardest part of this is just getting it back under this right here. It's not difficult, but you do have to kind of feed it under here. I mean, the only other option is taking this whole side piece off, which is really not necessary. And so I've just kind of, lifted out on this and kind of tucked this underneath. I'm just reaching back under and just kind of folding it down like under this wire here. And then we can just snap that back. And before you can snap it back, you got to kind of lift this over that wire and then watch your trim. Make sure this is out of the way. And then it should just snap right back into place. Okay, we just got our little plastic buttons to put back in various places. And We'll get on that other side over there and tuck it back under like we did this side. Yeah, this is one of the little buttons up here in the front. Passenger. And we're over here on the driver's side. We got a couple that go in here as well to help hold this down. Okay, so we got the carpet back in. I haven't even vacuumed it. It's pretty clean. You can see that it looks really amazing after cleaning this up. And we still got to get the interior. You can see how good this carpet looks, how much better it is. And when it comes, you know, to using the pressure washer, you really have to, you know, spray it down good. It really takes some time, depending on how much dirt's in there, until you start getting that water coming out clean. But this looks really good, better than I thought it would, because the carpet itself is actually in pretty good shape, surprisingly. So even if you don't have a pressure washer to do this, you can take this to the car wash and get the same results, maybe even better. Those car wash really have a lot of pressure, and you can run that soap and then rinse it, and you can get it looking really good. So before we put these back in, we're going to take, it's warm enough today, we're going to take some of this. And this is made for, pretty sure it's made for the plastic. And we're going to be painting this satin black. And more especially like this console. Looks absolutely horrible. There's no way, you know, no amount of cleaning is going to do it any good. It's just, it's scratched up, faded. So we're going to wipe them up with some alcohol before we go to painting it, and it's going to take usually 3 or 4 coats, usually 4 coats, because if you just go over it one time after you paint it, it's going to look just like this again. So you got to put several layers to actually get it covered thoroughly, so it's going to look nice. So we're going to do that. You know, even if the paint doesn't match 100%, doesn't matter, it's going to look a lot better. Okay, so I'm getting ready to set this console back in place. I got this painted. We got all the little trim pieces painted. So this is going to look a lot better. We're just going to set this with our little clips back in up here. Alright, I got the carpet messed up on the other side. So I just let the trim pieces and everything, let the paint set overnight, so it's just to make sure it's good and dry. It's not gonna, hopefully not gonna scratch any. Okay, so we got the Phillips screws on both sides in the front, and the only other one we have is this 11mm bolt. It's gonna go right back down in there. Right, so I got my 11mm. Go ahead and tighten this up. I think there was a piece broken in here, so this may not. Okay, that looks okay. Let's turn it back around. Or we just got to slide that under. The only difference on this side is just this kick panel is a little bit different. Slip up on this wire here. Okay, so we just got the little plastic. We got the Phillips screw. It's going to go right back in here. And we've got our little button down here that I forgot to pop out. And this is just going to snap back on. Okay, so now we're ready to go ahead and start getting these seats back in here. And we'll just start with the front seats up here. But this is looking good so far. I really underestimated how easy this paint is to scratch. I mean, if I barely touch it, it's scratching. So it takes a while for it to fully cure. So I'm having to be real careful. I probably should have covered the console up with something. Probably do that on the other seat. Now, if this leg slides out of adjustment, if you lifted this, you'll have to pull up on this and kind of slide it where you need it to get the little alignment peg in there. We'll just tighten these all at once we get them all threaded in. Right now we'll just do the same thing on the driver's seat. Okay, it's easier working by yourself. You set the back end, just kind of get it set on the clips before you go to do anything else, and then I just kind of starting the bolts here. Okay, so we just left our front one slightly loose. We get these back ones started here. Okay, so now we just got to do the bottom seat. Pretty easy. Just gotta, these are gonna clip back in here in these slots, and then we've got the one little bolt with the washer is gonna go right there onto the little metal loop. Okay, so we're getting ready to go in the seat, and here's our little pegs that are gonna lock. And of course we got to feed our seat belts up. Let's go to the other side. Okay, we'll just do the same thing over here. Okay, let's look back in here. We should be able to see our hole. And get it started by hand. We'll get over here with our extension and tighten that up. And you can see we clean this up back here too, so we're going to get our stuff in our little panel back in here. Okay, so let's take a look at the after. See, the console looks much better. And this was probably the worst of it. Back here on this part of the carpet. So I would say definite improvement. Alright, so that's going to do it for the video. I just wanted to show you on this, going through here and cleaning this out. Kind of the process I do. This was a pretty nasty one, and I felt like it turned out really good. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. As always, I invite you to subscribe, and thanks for watching.